campaign ad is urging mothers to talk to their children about the dangers of the Republican Party.
He was never afraid to talk with girls. But things never really worked out for some reason. I worried when he went to college, but he came home often. I guess he never really learned to do his own laundry. It wasn't until I met his college buddies that I realized it might be too late. This Mother's Day, talk to your child about the GOP.
But does that ad go too far, or do you think it's all in good fun? Here to debate this is author and journalist Emma Johnson and host of Truth Exchange, Kathy Barnett. Ladies, thanks for being with us.
Thank
you were
you.
laughing. You thought it was funny. Why?
It's parody. The only problem I have with that video is it didn't go far enough, and it wasn't funny enough. It could have been better. I mean, Tom Steyer is a billionaire. He's supporting this effort. He could have hired a better comedy writer.
All right, Kathy?
Yeah, you know what? This is about as funny as Kathy Griffin holding up a severed head of the president, right? She called that satire as well, and look at her career. Listen, I'm black. I'm a conservative. I voted for President Trump in 2016. I intend to vote for him again in 2020. Does that make me a torch-carrying card member of the KKK? It doesn't, but liberals tend not to get it. That's the height of racism, is that you think you can look at me and tell me who I am. And it's that kind of arrogance throughout the ad, throughout the Democratic Party that got Donald Trump elected in the first place.
No, it's that kind of attitude. Look, that is the height of this administration. He did not condone the Charlottesville torch-bearing white supremacists. He did not. So people who are supporting Donald Trump are, in effect, supporting that kind of activity.
No, that is not.
That's a blanket statement. You're saying
a blanket statement. It's racist.
Everyone who voted
it's intolerant.
for him?
Right? I mean, but it's racist, it's intolerant, it's demeaning, and it's arrogant. And if anything, this particular PSA serves as a get out the vote for conservatives, right? Because these are the same arrogant and demeaning people that are behind this ad. They're also occupied the previous Obama administration and who are clawing to get back into power this
right,
year.
Let me read what John Lovett wrote. He was a former Obama speechwriter, and he tweeted this out. Hey, Tom Steyer, the ads are counterproductive and annoying. You're not helping anyone but yourself, maybe, and you're wasting money that could really help when we're in the fight for our political lives. That's a Democrat.
What's the my big question is, why is this so irksome to the conservatives?
Oh, my
and
goodness.
I would say it's because they are weaponizing your very ideology. The conservatives.
No, it is not our ideology.
It is. The ideology
I am
using
black,
a mother.
I'm
Please let me finish,
conservative.
please. Let me
Hold on,
finish,
ladies,
please.
one at a time.
I think it's very interesting that they are using a mother, an everyday, average mom with her little bob in her nice home, which is frankly along the lines of conservative ideology that the mother should be in the home nurturing future generations. They're taking that and turning it on its face. Because
and I am sitting
the
here
reality is
as
that
a stark contrast. But I am sitting here as a stark contrast to everything that ad is pushing. I am black. I am a conservative, and that's intolerant. All throughout my neighborhoods, I see these little ridiculous signs talking about hate has no home here. But liberals are the physical embodiment of that very thing. How is this piece?
We are looking at an issue. We're looking at an issue.
How is this piece of propaganda any different than the Russian Facebook ads that seem to make liberals run with their hair on fire? It is derogatory, it is biased, and it is promoting misleading information that is meant to divide the American people. How is this any different than the Russian ads that seem to put their hair on fire?
This is not bigotry, because we're not making blanket based on anybody's race, ethnicity.
He's beating up poor kids.
Let me ask you this. Emma, are you worried that something like this type of a message, just a blanket statement about the GOP and what you said in the beginning, and it's almost like that deplorable comment. Do you think that is going to backfire when we see the midterm?
Why are we so upset about this? This is a parody. It is speaking to Steyer's base, which are people that actually believe these things, and speaking to specifically to mothers. I think that is the part that is so irksome to the right. It's because we are talking about families, and the reality is that families talk about these things at home. I talk about politics with my children at home. The radio is on all the time. These are actual issues that people are talking about. And if you don't want mothers to be influencing their children about what the GOP is about, then you need to be having a different message about what the GOP is.
But this is biased, misleading, and derogatory information. There is no truth there. I am not trying to beat up on poor kids. I am not walking around with a torch in my hand, and I am not, and I am not trying to tell it, and I'm not trying to beat up illegals and send them home. It's derogatory. So if you're going to talk to your children, talk about facts, talk about clear-eyed logic, and stop the constant narrative of pushing hate. Liberals are the embodiment of hate.
All right, Emma, Kathy, thank you for being here.